Another popular way to set up your Performance Max campaigns is to separate your best sellers from your other products. And so it's actually very easy to set up. And so I want to show you how you would do it inside of Shopify, for example. So in Shopify, you might look for your reports to understand which products you're selling most of. So you might go sales by product, and then it'll come up as total sales by product. So click on there. And you might want to select 90 days. Now, if you're a seasonal business, you might want to select, 365 days because you want to get a full picture of what's going on. But let's just assume 90 days is good for you and then click apply. Now, these products here are the top sellers based on the top 5. So they're highlighted in blue, but we might want to take more than that. We might want to add inside of a Performance Max campaign or an asset group, this many. We might look at the drop off, 7,000, 3,000, just eyeball it until you get to a certain number of products, 10 or 15 that are your top sellers, and then cut it off from there. And let's say that we add this into its own campaign or own asset group. So let's do it. We're going to take these. Now you can be more calculated and you can export this as a CSV file. You can upload it to ChatGPT. You can get it to calculate it on an O4 high model, but we're not going to do that. So let's continue over to Google Ads. We might then duplicate an existing campaign and then we're going to rename that. Let's say that we renamed it to, you could say Bestsellers, or if you want to compile your top sellers versus your lowest sellers in the same campaign, you go high versus low. And the way that you would do this is inside of this campaign here, the first one will say bestsellers and you organize the listing groups correctly. And then you might create one more, which contains everything else that's not bestsellers. So let's go ahead and do that. Now let's click into here and separate those. So this is from the old settings. We're going to remove these, right? So we click into here, just uncheck all of these. You filter by the item ID, okay? And so what you do now, you go back over to Shopify, you hover over this, and then find the ID here, and then all you need to do is click in the search bar, and then this is just the main product, right? This is the one showing on Shopify, but then here's the different product variations, small, medium, large. So we're gonna select all of these, and then continue. We go back into the search bar, we have a look until all of these are done, and then, you keep continuing from there. You select all the variants and then you click save. Let's assume that I've done it for all those products that I want, and then you're good to go. And then from there, it's going to automatically exclude everything else. So let's say that you finished everything and you're good to go. The only extra consideration for you to have, if you got dog tag here, right? And dog collars and things like that. Maybe they're okay to belong into the same asset group, and maybe you want to change the images to show a bit of tags and then a bit of collars at the same time. But if you're showing dog food and one of these is like dog food, then you might want to separate that into a different asset group with different signals. Okay. You might not want to, target dog leash and all this kind of stuff because you're jumbling too many different audiences and all products into the same asset group. So I would honestly just separate it. Let's say that you separate them all into their own asset groups, and let's say that you're ready to proceed with that next step. So all you need to do is you duplicate the asset group after you're done. So you change, the URLs and all that kind of stuff, but it's automatically going to do it with the listing groups. So let's say that you were ready to get started on the next one. Then all you would need to do is you would duplicate everything, right? So let's say that we say lowest sellers, let's call it that. And let's say that we changed all this because we know what the lowest sellers are. So you mix a bit of images from all the kind of low selling products. And then let's say that you were done. So normally you do learn more, not automated. So where is that there? Click save. And then from here, the listing groups is actually quite simple. So it's going to adopt the listing groups from the best sellers. And all you have to do is invert it. Okay, what's the way you do this? Yes. Okay, so you basically put all the top sellers back in, because this is going to be easier, right? If you've got hundreds and hundreds of products, then the way you do it is you re-add all the top sellers. Like let's say that you did that, and then we did it for this top one just as an example, and then click save. And then from here, all you do is invert them. So you select these, and then you click exclude. And then so what you do from then is you include everything else. So you enable this one. So you see how these are excluded? Now you just go include. Okay, so that's how you would do it. Basically, you'd fill out all of the top sellers, and then just these are all the top sellers are now excluded in this ad group, and everything else is included. And that's how you separate them. Okay, and that's the same way you would do it if you decide to separate campaigns. Maybe you want to, instead of saying high and low, you would have one campaign that's PMax high, which is all your best sellers, and you've got different, asset groups with different signals selling all of your best sellers, and you've got a campaign that's selling all your lowest sellers, and respectively all of those products in their own kind of asset groups. So that's kind of how you do it, guys. Pretty simple. Just takes a little bit of work getting this thing up and running, but you can see how this would, make an impact in the business and trying to push all your best sellers instead. So if you got any questions, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them, and I'll see you in the next video.